Today I want to do something I've been looking to do for quite a while, and that's do an install of MorphOS. I've got a couple of PowerPC based Macs. Both have Nvidia graphics cards, so that's the first obstacle I had to overcome. But before we dig into how we're going to install MorphOS, let's answer the question of what is MorphOS and where did it come from? The story of MorphOS has its beginnings in the iconic Amiga OS. However, as the computing world evolved, that original Amiga hardware started to feel a little bit dated. Though there was plenty of accelerators, mostly further iterations on the Motorola 68000 processor. The most coveted of these being the Motorola 060, which are still sought after today. But there were also accelerators that were PowerPC. That opened up a slightly different line of operating systems that you could run on the Amiga. This is where MorphOS had its underpinnings. It allowed you, when you had that PowerPC accelerator, to run a different operating system. It still had some dependencies on Amiga OS, and largely allowed some compatibility with the original Amiga OS titles, meaning you weren't left high and dry if you wanted to move to MorphOS. At around about the same time, Amiga Inc. managed to sign a contract with Hyperion to develop a PowerPC port of the Amiga OS. This was going to be Amiga OS 4 and was to be the operating system for their new upcoming flagship product, the Amiga 1. This was a machine that was coveted by many of the Amiga enthusiasts, the purists who were looking for a continuation of the Amiga name. To some degree, this split the Amiga community, dividing those that were loyal to the Amiga brand and those who were loyal to the Amiga legacy. And as these two projects were taking two very different routes, on one side Amiga OS 4, which was going to be tied in to the new Amiga hardware, MorphOS had a very different approach. They were originally targeting the bigger box machines with these accelerators. Using a combination of the Quark microkernel and some integration with the original Amiga OS, they were initially tied into the Amiga ecosystem. But they had the foresight to eventually bring that to be a fully fledged operating system in its own right, which would run on those Amigas, as long as they had a PowerPC accelerator, and on other PowerPC based hardware. Ironically, like the Apple Macs. Apple used a PowerPC as the successor to the 68000, and I believe this is generally the reason that the Amiga went the same route. And maybe that's an example of following rather than innovating that really didn't go well. Amiga OS 4 was released in around 2002, and the final versions of it were around 2006. They did eventually release a classic version which would run on the old Amiga hardware with a PowerPC accelerator, and this wasn't released until 2007. Since then, the Amiga name and the intellectual property associated with it in the post-Commodore years has become more tangled in legal affairs than you could ever imagine. Though Hyperion actually have the source code to 3.1 of the operating system, and they were involved in developing Amiga OS 4, they don't have the source code for Amiga OS 4, and neither does Amiga Inc., which is now a defunct company. On the flip side of that, the MorphOS operating system is still being actively developed today, and its support for a wide variety of PowerPC based architecture is second to none. There are potentially future plans to move MorphOS onto an x86 platform. In a nutshell, MorphOS is really the operating system of the nostalgic Amiga user who wants the ability to have the Amiga experience, be that on hardware that is now more than 20 years old. How time flies. Well, it's time to dig in and see if we can get MorphOS installed on the dual processor G5 Power Mac. This is a beast of a machine. It weighs about as much as a 10-year-old. The one thing that is wrong with it is it has an Nvidia graphics card. They were very much the closed ecosystem when it came to drivers. That's why there isn't a huge amount of support for them in Linux and other operating systems. If Nvidia didn't want to write the driver, you didn't get a driver. Nvidia are very unlikely to want to write drivers for 20-year-old graphics cards to work with an operating system that's there to support a very niche community of Amiga enthusiasts. ATI, on the other hand, embraced open source. That's where the support for ATI graphics cards in the MorphOS ecosystem comes from. The problem is, I need to find an ATI card that is both compatible with MorphOS and compatible with a G5 Apple Mac. And not any G5 Apple Mac, mine is the PCI Express version, one of the very later models, just prior to them moving to the Intel platform. So after scouring the internet for many days and failing to really find any cards that are compatible, buying several cards that weren't compatible, I'm not going to bore you with the testing of those because it's not very exciting. They just don't work. There are many PCI Express cards that are Apple Mac compatible, but they are Apple Mac Intel compatible, and they work fine with those machines, but they're not designed for running in the PowerPC architecture. There is one card that did ship as an upgrade for these machines, and that's the ATI X1900 GT, and it's exactly the same card as was available for the PCs at the time. So if you can find one of those, it's actually possible to flash them. So you can imagine my surprise when wandering into a local charity shop for no other reason than having watched quite a few of LGR's thrifting videos and thought, well, I'll give that a go and have a look. And what do I happen to find sat on the shelf for a pittance of money is a Radeon X1900 GT, boxed. So really all I have to do now is flash this card to be the Mac version, install it in the PowerPC, and I should be able to install MorphOS without any issue at all. Sponsors of this video are PCBWay. They provide PCB prototype fabrication from as little as $5. They also have a huge library of shared projects, and if you're not confident with a soldering iron, you can even get them to assemble them for you. PCBWay also have CNC machining and 3D printing services. All of this is available at PCBWay.com. Thanks PCBWay for sponsoring this video. So my first order of business is to cobble together a PC that I can put the PCI Express card in order to flash it. While I'm doing this, I might as well test the hard drive that I'm intending to use in the Mac, because to be honest, it's a damn sight easier to test that it's working on a PC, at least that it boots from it, than it is trying to do that in a Mac. I've tried using FreeDOS for this process, and the current version doesn't work. The actual Flash program doesn't run. Use MS-DOS 6.22 and that works perfectly. I'll put some more details about flashing the card on my website, and I'll pop a link to that in the description below. So with the card now flashed, we have to test it in the Mac. As soon as it starts showing graphics, I know that the card is in fact good. Swapping out the hard drive, and then we can get on with installing MorphOS. Does MorphOS genuinely hold the keys to the Amiga legacy? Is it genuinely the operating system for the Amiga enthusiast? Well, I can't answer that question without trying it out for myself, and having only just installed MorphOS, I need a bit of time. If you've got some hardware that MorphOS that will run on, why not give it a download and give it a try? You never know, you might like it. And the irony just might be that back in the day, a lot of people said that the best Apple Mac, particularly in the 68,000 period, was an Amiga. Could it now be that the best Amiga you can buy is in fact an Apple Mac? If you've enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing, like, and why not check this video out next?